All right. What if I told you Batman's biggest role is being chased by Hollywood's A-listers? Spider-Man's next villains are already locked in, and Marvel just kicked off one of its most iconic heroes. Killed off one of its most iconic heroes. Oh, and DC may have introduced the most controversial villain in their history. We've got more news than the Bugle or the Planet. Let's break it all down in today's Comic Issues Daily. My name's Bryant, and this is brought to you by I Have Comic Issues. And today's episode is also brought to you by Ron's Comic Closet. He's the sponsor of I Have Comic Issues, your one-stop shop for back issues, new releases, modern books, key books, and I think he might even have a few slaps. And don't forget, you can save 20% off your entire order when you purchase. You can save 20% off your first purchase with Ron if you use code I Have Issues at checkout. Just head over there and check it out. All right. Also, check out Brandon, or the GoFundMe for Brandon, aka Mon Comics, and his family. They lost their house in a house fire a couple weeks ago. This is the GoFundMe link for that. So check that out if you get a chance. All right. Now let's get to what you're here for, which is the stories from yesterday. All right. And DC Comics has never shied away from controversial material, but their newest villain may be their most polarizing yet. As reported by Superhero Hype, a character clearly modeled after Jeffrey Epstein has entered the DC universe. He's presented as a wealthy manipulator who preys on those beneath him while enjoying protection from the powerful. Though unnamed, his background and methods unmistakably echo the disgraced financier, making him one of the most unsettling analogies to appear in superhero comics. The decision to introduce this figure into Batman's corner of the DC universe has fans buzzing. Some argue it makes sense. Gotham has always been a reflection of the real-world corruption, and drawing parallels to Epstein highlights how predators hide in plain sight. Others feel the move risks trivializing tragedy by turning it into a plot device. This isn't the first time DC has mirrored current events, but the stark resemblance has ignited a firestorm of conversation online. The inclusion also speaks to a larger editorial trend. DC has leaned heavily into their absolute line and darker story arcs. In a villain like this signals their willingness to push boundaries. It also raises the stakes for heroes like Batman, who now face a foe rooted in very real evil instead of just costume theatrics. Whether readers see it as a bold storytelling or tone-deaf shock value, one thing is certain: this villain is already one of the most talked about characters of the year. What do you think? Is DC going too far by using that Epstein-inspired villain, or does this ground their universe in a way that makes it more powerful? Drop your thoughts below. But while DC is sparking controversy, James Gunn is stoking excitement on the Batman front. When it comes to The Dark Knight, the spotlight is never far away, and James Gunn has turned it up another notch. As reported by Batman News, Gunn confirmed that a number of big actors have expressed serious interest in donning the cape and cowl of the Brave and the Bold. The film will not only introduce a fresh version of Batman, but also bring Damon Wayans, Bruce's son, into live action for the first time. The acknowledgement that Hollywood A-listers is circling the role shows that just how high the stakes are for the DC Studios' next major cornerstone of the Trinity. Batman has always attracted marquee talent, from Michael Keaton to Kristen Bale to Robert Pattinson. Gunn's comments underline the prestige of the role, but also highlights the challenge of getting it right from a connected cinematic universe. Fans are already tossing out names from established dramatic heavyweights to rising stars, each with their own pros and cons. The hunger for speculation is proof that Batman remains the most scrutinized casting choice in comic media, carrying more weight than perhaps any other superhero. I don't know, the casting concerns going into Superman were pretty high. I mean, it was going to be hard to bring someone that could stand up to the stature of either Christopher Reeves or Henry Cavill and so forth. So At the same time, Gunn made it clear that the final pick won't be about chasing the biggest name on the marquee. Instead, he's focusing on finding an actor who embodies the version of Batman that fits the tone for the brave and the bold. That balance brings creative integrity and star power, is exactly what DC needs to reestablish Batman in the post-Snyder, post-Reeves landscape. With so many eyes watching, this may be one of the most important casting calls in superhero film history. What do you think? Should take over? Who do you think should take over as Batman in Gunn's DC? A proven star or someone unexpected who can make the role their own? And speaking of speculation, Spider-Man 4 has just had some major villain detail confirmed. And Spider-Man is swinging back into theaters with Brand New Day. And this time he's bringing some familiar enemies along for the ride. As reported by Superhero Hype and Game Radar, the movie will feature both Tombstone and Scorpion as part of Peter Parker's rogue gallery. Marvin Jones III, who voiced Tombstone Into the Spider-Verse, is stepping into the live-action role, while Michael Mandoa is reprising his MCU role as Mark Gargan, better known as Scorpion. This sets the stage for Spider-Man to face a more street-level gauntlet of villains than the cosmic chaos of his last outings. The presence of Tombstone signals a return to gritty, organized crime roots for the Spider-Man films. As one of Marvel's most ruthless mob bosses, Lonnie Lincoln has always been a terrifying mix of brute force and underworld influence, a perfect counter to Peter's street-level identity. Pairing him with Scorpion, a character teased all the way back in Homecoming, finally pays off years of fan speculation. Both characters ground the action in New York criminal underworld in the New York criminal underworld, reinforcing that this Spider-Man is more than just a cosmic hero. He's still the neighborhood's last line of defense. Interestingly, reports suggest that neither Tombstone nor Scorpion may serve as a central big bad of the film. Instead, leaks hint at a female shapeshifter who could be a new twist on the chameleon, tying espionage and deception into the storyline. This approach opens the door to a layered villain roster. Recognizable faces like Scorpion, a new live-action debut of Tombstone, and the intrigue of a mysterious villain pulling the strings. With casting still under wraps, the speculation has only intensified, bringing Brand New Day buzz that it needs to set the MCU Spider-Man saga on its next big track. Which villains are you most excited for to see in Spider-Man 4? Tombstone, Scorpion, or the rumored shape-shifting mastermind? And while Spider-Man's future is being mapped out, another Marvel icon may be reaching the end of his journey. Few Marvel heroes embody both grandeur and tragedy like the Silver Surfer, and the death of Silver Surfer number 4 pushes him further towards his most dramatic fate yet. As details on Marvel.com, the issue continues to explore the cosmic toll of Norrin Radd's existence as he faces the limits of his powers and the inevitability of his mortality. With Galactus' shadow never far from the story, the miniseries frames the Surfer's struggle as a mythic reckoning with the question of sacrifice and redemption, where the questions of sacrifice and redemption are as central as any clash of cosmic power. What makes the chapter resonate is how it doubled down on the Surfer's unique role as both herald and hero. For decades, he has walked the line between servant for Galactus and protector of the universe, burdened by guilt yet driven by compassion. Issue 4 deepens this conflict, putting his choice under a harsher spotlight than ever before. The creative team is not just writing another battle, they're writing an elegy, one that acknowledges the weight of Surfer's history while forcing him to face the final consequences of his journey. At the same time, fans know that in comics, death is rarely permanent. The question becomes less about whether the Surfer will truly fall and more about how Marvel chooses to reshape him through the lens of the storyline. While he passes the mantle, will this be a rebirth in disguise, or is it Marvel making a statement by finally letting one of its most iconic cosmic heroes rest? No matter, the outcome. The speculation alone proves the Silver Surfer still commands an unmatched place in Marvel's pantheon. Do you think Marvel will actually let the Silver Surfer death stand, or is it just a prelude to his next great transformation? But Marvel wasn't the only one dropping shocking developments over in the MCU. We got both good and bad news. Marvel Studios just hit a major milestone and a major setback, all in the same breath, as reported by D. Emerson Eddy at The Beat. Avengers Doomsday has officially wrapped production, making the completion of one of the MCU's most ambitious films yet. Positioned as the next major ensemble event, the movie will lean heavily into a battle between them and Doctor Doom as the central threat. It's the kind of production wrap that sparks celebration across the fandom, signaling that Marvel's most pivotal team up in years is moving one step closer to the theaters. But while one project moves forward, another is forced to hit pause. Tom Holland reportedly sustained an onset injury while filming Spider-Man Brand New Day, halting production until he recovers. While details are scarce, the facts that production has stopped underscore the seriousness of the situation. For fans, the news is jarring. Holland's Spider-Man has become the emotional anchor of MCU's younger generation, and any delays ripple across Marvel's interconnected plans. It's an unfortunate reminder that even the biggest franchises are vulnerable to real-world setbacks. Taken together, these developments paint a complex picture of Marvel's future. Avengers Doomsday wrapping means that the studio is on track to deliver another tentpole that will shape the MCU's direction. At the same time, the delay to Brand New Day creates uncertainty about scheduling and release windows. The quality of progress and pause highlights just how fragile the balance of the MCU or the Marvel's roadmap can be, especially as the studio pushes into its most ambitious slate yet. Are you more excited for the completion of Avengers Doomsday, or more concerned about the delay of Spider-Man Brand New Day? Let me know below. Meanwhile, Marvel isn't the only one shaking things up. Over in the Ultimate Universe, one Avenger is already as good as gone. The Ultimate Universe never shied away from shocking moves, and it relaunched just delivered one of its boldest yet. Clint Barton, the Ultimate Hawkeye, is dead, as reported by Superhero Hype. Ultimate Hawkeye #1 confirmed that Barton has already fallen before the series even began, leaving a vacuum in both the superhero community and among his closest allies. The choice immediately sets the tone for Marvel's new Ultimate line, a world where the rules are rewritten and no character is safe. For longtime fans, Clint's absence is a jarring reminder of the Ultimate line's ultimate ethos. Back in the early 2000s, the Ultimate imprint made its mark by killing off major heroes, reinventing origins, and taking risks the mainline Marvel continuity couldn't. By sidelining Barton right from the start, Marvel signals that this iteration of the Ultimate Universe will carry the same unpredictability. It's also clears the way for characters like Kate Bishop to rise in prominence, reshaping the Archer's legacy in a new generation's hands. Still, questions loom about the decision. Was Barton killed to clear space for younger heroes, or will future issues reveal a deeper story behind his fall? Marvel fans are already debating whether this death is truly permanent or just a narrative hook that will lead to his return. Either way, the shock of losing one of the Ultimate Avengers so soon proves that Marvel is serious about making this relaunch matter. Do you think Clint Barton's death should stick in the Ultimate Universe, or would you rather see Marvel bring him back down the line? And speaking of some seismic changes, the comic book industry itself is still adjusting in the post-Diamond era. The comic industry continues to feel the rippling effects of Diamond Comics distribution downfall. The Universal distribution is making its case. It is making its case as a leader in the new landscape. As reported by ICV2, Universal CEO spoke about the ongoing transformation of how comics reach retailers and fans. With Diamond no longer the unchallenged giant, the market has fractured into multiple players, including Universal, Lunar Distribution, and Penguin Random House. Hey, Brian. The diversity has reshaped the industry in ways both promising and challenging. For retailers, the shift means juggling multiple accounts, shipping schedules, and minimum order requirements. Gone are the days when one orders through Diamond handled the entire week's inventory. While competition has helped drive innovation and improved service, it's also created logistic headaches. The Universal CEO acknowledges that this complexity is the new normal, but also argues that it creates more resilience. If one distributor falters, others can keep producing flowing, can keep products flowing. Perhaps the most significant change lies in how publishers approach their distribution strategies. Larger companies like Marvel and DC have aligned with big partners, while smaller publishers are choosing between multiple distributors based on region and reliability. The Universal CEO suggests this evolution is healthy for the market overall, giving shops and fans more security than the previous single point of failure system. For an industry that has long feared collapse from over-centralization, the post-Diamond era may prove to be a turning point. Do you think the comic industry is better off with multiple distributors, or do you miss the simplicity of the Diamond era? But let's get back to the big screen, because Superman just scored a box office victory that DC fans have been waiting for. The DCU just scored a symbolic but significant victory at the box office, as reported by comicbook.com. James Gunn Superman has quietly overtaken Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in worldwide gross box office sales, with Guardians 3 ending its run at around $845 million. Superman has now pushed past $850 million globally, cementing itself as not only a successful launch for DC Studios' new cinematic universe, but also a statement for the Man of Steel's staying power. For Gunn, the milestone carries special weight. He not only directed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 for Marvel, but he also now stands as the creative architect of DC's new era. Seeing Superman eclipse his own Marvel swan song adds an ironic twist. One the fans are already joking about online. More importantly, it signals that audiences were ready to embrace a new take on the iconic hero. Even after years of shaky reception for Superman's films, box office numbers don't just represent dollars, they represent momentum. Marvel film has largely dominated the charts for over a decade, while DC struggled to keep pace. The fact that Superman can now stand shoulder to shoulder with Marvel's critical and financial hits suggests the tides may finally be turning. If this trend continues, the DCU could reestablish itself as a legitimate rival at the box office in ways not seen since Nolan's Batman trilogy. Do you think Superman surpasses Guardian 3 as a sign that DC is truly back, or is this just a lucky outlier in a superhero box office battle? And while Superman is soaring at the box office, we got it's time to check in on today's CovrPrice Daily Shakers, where some of the keys are moving big money fast. The September 29th CovrPrice Daily Shakers Spotlight remind us just how strong the vintage comic book market continues to be. Leading the pack is Detective Comics issue number 168 from 1951, the landmark issue that introduced the origin of the Red Hood. A CGC 5.0 recently sold for an impressive $12,000, underscoring how pivotal Batman's Rogue Gallery keys remain. Close behind was Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four #1 in a CGC 4.5, which hit $8,200. Proof that Marvel's first family still commands premium prices, even in a mid-grade. These top-tier sales anchor the market, showing that true grails never lose their shine. Golden Age and Silver Age gems also made waves across the report. All American Comics number 89 sold for $6,600 in a CGC 8.5, highlighting collector interest in pre-Silver Age DC. And then Mad Volume 1, issue number 1, moved for $5,520, showcasing the ongoing strength of influential non-superhero titles. Meanwhile, DC's Showcase number 22, the first appearance of Hal Jordan's Green Lantern, fetched $3,395 in a CGC 4.0. Together, these sales demonstrated the enduring power of books tied to historic firsts, genre-defining moments, and creators whose legacy transcends decades. Even outside the top grails, notable books kept the market buzzing. Neil Adams' iconic cover of Batman 227 commanded $2,950 in a CGC 8.5, while The Brave and the Bold number 28, the debut of the Justice League of America, hit $2,900 in a CGC 7.0. Rounding out the list is Captain Marvel Adventures number 1 from 1941 and Action Comics Volume 2, issue number 20 from 1939, both closed at $2,880, proving that even low-grade Golden Age material can still demand significant investments. From crime horror obscurities like Out of the Shadows number 8 to superhero cornerstones, the Shakers list reflects a market still rewarding rarity in history and prestige. Which of these sales surprised you the most? The Batman and Justice League keys or the Golden Age giants that continue to climb? All right. Don't forget, every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central, we have, and 7 p.m. Eastern, I have the Comic Channel Origins show live stream where I sit down with comic book YouTube creators and talk to them about how they've grown their YouTube channel. But this week, I'm sitting down with the Fantastic Four of C3, or Comics Curing Cancer, and I'm going to be interviewing them about how Comics Curing Cancer came about. That's going to be Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics, Legion of Comics, DJ Links, and Austin LeMay. And we'll be talking to them about all of that. So please join us on Sunday, October 5th at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern for that live stream. And also, that's it for today's stories. For today at Comic Issues Daily. If you enjoyed this roundup, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's recap. And as always, I want to hear from you. Which of you? Hello, up and Adam. Welcome in. Thank you. I want to hear from each of you. Which of today's stories hit you the hardest? Was it Spider-Man's villain lineup, Superman's box office triumph, or DC's controversial new villain? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And until next time, I'm Bryant, and I have comic issues.